Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the SITREP for the Pakistan-India crisis that is currently developing due to the attack at the Pahalgam, which is over here. This is Pahalgam, and the attack at this resort, or so-called the Switzerland of India, has fallen out to a massive degree where I have rated the risk of war as medium to high. So the risk of war is now listed as pretty high because of the near total cutting of diplomatic relationship between India and Pakistan. They have both deployed troops to the border, and more significantly is the suspending of the Indus Water Treaty. So the Indus Water Treaty is if India suspends it, which is what they are doing right now, is actually a act of war. So it's over here. It's an act of war, and it is also called out by the Pakistani National Security Committee that this is an act of war. So they have promised a comprehensive retaliation. Of course, war don't suddenly break out. There is important needs to build up your forces before you can actually do even anything. So because of these fundamental reasons, the risk of war right now is super high between India and Pakistan. So this is the focus page. This is the focus page for the India-Pakistan crisis. You can find this at the DPS website. You go to Focus 2025 India-Pakistan crisis. So it's not a war yet, and of course the risk is high. Doesn't mean it will happen. The chance of happening is, in my opinion, the risk is high, but the chance of happening, I think, is still not that high yet. I would say maybe 50%, or for now. That means there's a 50% chance that a skirmish might break out, like a small war. A big all-out war, I don't think so. But of course, a small war can lead to a big war. So that's the thing. But the risk of war is high because of the fundamentals. So so that is the main thing. I'm not sure if it makes sense to you. No, because the risk of war is high because of the casus belli. But both sides know that a war between Pakistan and India is very dangerous for both sides, and the risk of escalation into a major war is something that both countries cannot stomach. So, which is why I say that the chance of war is lower than the risk of war. I'm not sure it makes sense or not, but yeah. So, but it is the way how my brain works. So no. So anyway, I have done a video regarding the Pahalgam attack. So if you want like a refresher, you can actually look at this. So I don't think it works very well like this. Yeah. So basically, Pahalgam is a tourist hub, and then the militants attack. And the attack caused 26 deaths, mostly tourists. And the currently it was claimed the attack is claimed by the group called the Resistance Front, a militant group, and then they are considered a proxy. So let me do this again. They are considered a proxy of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, Pakistani-based terrorist organization, which is designated terrorist group by many countries. So, however, the problem is that India is now alleging that Pakistan inter-service intelligence was supporting this TET or TRF, LET and TRF, based for funding, training, and logistics. And the claim right now is that the Indians have evidence. So they are not releasing the evidence to the public, but they have allegedly sent this to other countries to gather support for India. So that's the general situation. So I'm not going to go through every single information here because it's quite crazy. I'll go through the gist, and then you can actually go to the website to actually look at all the things that is being said. And some of the things I already covered during the Pahalgam report. The main thing, for example, is the controversial words from Asim Munir, the chief of army of Pakistan. So so he so you can't see. Oh, sorry, I forgot, because I was wondering why you can't see. So because I didn't need to change the screen, because he said this days prior to the attack. He said Asim Munir, the chief of army of Pakistan, said that the Pakistan stance is absolutely clear. Kashmir is their jugular vein, and it will be their jugular vein, which makes not a lot of sense. So maybe they're talking about the water. No, I'm not sure. They will not forget it. They will not leave their Kashmiri brothers in their heroic struggles. This is actually very controversial, because who is struggling? Is the separatist forces, rebels, terrorists. These are the people who are doing struggle in Kashmir. So the normal people don't struggle. No, they are just living life. So he's referring to all these terror groups, all these separatist groups, or freedom fighters, whatever you want to call them. And they say that they will not leave them behind. And then he add on how the Pakistani is different. So the Muslim Pakistani are different from Hindu. They say the religion is different, the customs are different, the traditions are different, the thoughts are different, and the ambitions are different. And they say that this is the foundation for the two-nation theory, which laid the belief that there are two nations, not one. Because the thing is that the India-Pakistan used to be one territory under the British, and though it's the British India. So they want to insist that no, the Indians who are Muslim are not Indians. They are Pakistanis, or they are totally a different thingy altogether. Of course, that theory has broken down due to the independence of Bangladesh from Pakistan, and clearly shows that it is not two nations, it's three nations. So it's three nations. But no, Bangladesh is their own thing. Of course, Bangladesh now have their own problem right now. They just had a revolution recently. I haven't really covered anything else there. It's still chaotic over there. So this is very controversial, because this is like, out of nothing, suddenly he's creating something. And what's worse is that after he said that they will not leave their Kashmiri brothers behind in their struggles, days later this attack happened, and Narendra Modi is very pissed off, of course. And the India's position right now is that the terrorists and the conspirators. Who is the conspirators? He's pointing at Pakistan, and we will punish them worse than they can imagine. So this is a threat. Hopefully, it's only towards the terrorists. India will identify, track, punish every terrorist and their backers. And that is the problem. If the backers is Pakistan, then India is going to go after Pakistan. So right now, along the line of contact, there is skirmishes currently happening. So first, it was reported on the night of 24th to 25th. There is allegedly unprovoked small arms fire coming from the Pakistani side onto the Indian side, and the Indian side fire back. No casualties reported, because this is just random firing. This happens very, very often in the Korean line of control. So not between North and South Korea, this kind of thing happen very, very often. Like they just fire at each other, but they don't really aim to kill. They basically just fire for the sake of firing, like just to show a presence. So that's kind of thing. So, and this exchange of fire was actually confirmed by the Pakistani side. It's at the Lipa Valley. So no civilian casualties occurred. So the situation is getting really bad. So for example, so just to a rundown of what the Indians have done immediately upon the this. You can read the full details over here when you go to the website, but I'll go through the general situation. So on the timeline, this is the simplified version. India basically suspended the Indus Water Treaty. They halted the share of the flood data, And then they closed the Atari-Wagah border crossing. They revoked all visas for Pakistani nationals. They have also expelled military advisors and also reduced the diplomatic staff. All military personnel from the Pakistani side, the attaché, everything was all kicked out of India. So India, of course, denies the involvement and calls the treaty suspension and lack of war. They have suspended the trade with India. They closed the airspace and land border to India, which means Indian commercial planes can now not fly over Pakistani airspace. To have to go around Pakistan to go to, for example, Middle East or Europe. And they also then conducted surface-to-surface missile tests off the Karachi coast. And the defense minister suggested that the attack might be a false flag by India. So this personally, I do not think is the case. The reason because India is right now super busy. So if you look from the macro geopolitics right now, India is currently having this massive trade deal being negotiated with United States. The last thing they want is a war that will disrupt the trade negotiation, because you have to understand from the geopolitical perspective that India right now, with this trade war that's launched by Donald Trump, is the best opportunity. This window might never come again for India to take full advantage of the chaos in the trade and trading system and economic world economic system to put a foothold into it. So India has been basically left out of the current the international trading system. From the point of China's entry into the WTO, that basically India is one of the big losers when China entered the WTO. So with this resetting of the economic system, India is now taking advantage. As you can actually see from actual actions, India is one of the very first countries to visit Donald Trump at the White House. And they are also one of the first to declare their intention to cut tariff with United States. They're going to do a lot of things. They announce a lot of things. And they are also the first to have very advanced negotiations. With JD Vance just visited India, they have already confirmed a lot of these underlying fundamentals for the negotiations. So the trade deal might come very, very soon, maybe within the next 3 months. And India will be the biggest winner out of this trade war. A lot of the factories from China is now moving to India. Like, for example, Apple's factories, to produce Apple phones. And this percentage is increasing by the day. And with the trade war targeting specifically China by Donald Trump, the chances of China retaking any manufacturing jobs is going to be very difficult for now. All these factories and jobs is likely going to flow to Southeast Asia and India, most likely. So when you look at from this macro geopolitical situation, that India really wants this to really get this trade deal done, and because this is going to be super beneficial for India as they are trying to raise people out of poverty. So this attack to be a false flag for India is very unlikely. It just throws a screw into this entire cock and machinery that will just grind everything to a halt. So I don't think so. And this is also the reason why I think while the risk of war is high, I think the chance of war is low, because India have too much at stake that they cannot lose. Going to war will just disrupt their moves inside this trade war. So this is important to note. And of course, this also puts into question who might be behind the attack, because the attack might be Pakistani terrorists, possible. But the problem is who is funding them, supporting them, and pushing them to do this kind of action. It might be about Pakistan, but it might be foreign powers. For example, China. Because like I said, India is going to be the biggest winner in this trade war, and they are going to benefit a lot from China's loss of trade. and loss of manufacturing capability. So all these things is a possibility, but something to take note of. And since then, the next day, the Pakistani have suspended its similar agreement, and then they closed the airspace to and halted trade. Like this is what I already mentioned. They then also do a tit for tat. They expelled Indian diplomats and ordered Indian advisors to leave Pakistan by the end of the month. So, and the Atari Wagah border ceremony was reduced, so they no longer do a handshake. So this continues, and then the skirmishes happened. Since then, the Indian Chief of Staff, General Upendra, have visited the Pahalgam attack site to review security arrangements, and then the Indian Navy reacted to the Pakistani surface-to-surface missile test by deploying their aircraft carrier, the INS Vikrant, to the Arabian Sea near the Pakistani maritime border to do live firing. So they do live drill, including the medium-range surface-to-air missile launch. So all these are tit for tat, and it's very dangerous, as they are all very close to each other. Any mishap, any accidents may cause a misunderstanding, and they might start to fire at each other. So the Pakistani continued their exercise all the way to the 25th. So coincide with the Indian Navy's live firing as well. And the Air Force for the Pakistani side then started to have more intensive flights over the LoC, the line of contact. Then a weird thing happened. At the Firozepur border, at one of the border posts, an Indian border security force soldier from the 122nd Battalion was captured by the Pakistani Rangers. The story is a bit funny. He accidentally wandered into Pakistani territory. So this is the full detail. So what happened is that this guy is the constable PK Sahu, or maybe PK Singh, depending on the reporting. So what happened is that this guy is not a new soldier. He's a veteran, 17-year veteran of the BSF. And then so he was in uniform, carrying a service rifle. He was on active duty, then accompanying the farmer near the border fence. And then he was monitoring the farmers. Then he went to rest under a tree. But he rests under the tree. The tree is actually inside Pakistani territory, which is kind of funny. Like I say, it's a bit weird. And then because he is in Pakistani territory, and then the Pakistani Rangers found him and arrested him immediately for unauthorized border crossing. So he was taken into custody and bring deeper into Pakistan. Until this point, at this moment, as per this report, he's still under Pakistani custody, and I don't think he's going to be getting home anytime soon, unless the entire thing cool down. If the entire situation cool down, then I think he'll manage to get home. If the situation continue to be at a high temperature, then he's going to stay in Pakistani jail for some time. So this is a very, very weird incident. There's also other things that has happened, there's unrelated, like an Indian aircraft during exercise drop something, drop a heavy load onto a civilian house, but that is unrelated. If you read that, that's unrelated to the Pakistani situation. Some say the Indian aircraft bombed its own village. That's not entirely true. It might be a exercise bomb. That means it doesn't explode. So yeah, he dropped something, and of course something is going to happen to the pilot. Yeah, he's going to get demoted, I think. The situation continues to be very tense. More clashes was reported, and the Indian security forces, where they were searching around, they met with suspected militants, and then they have a skirmish between the militants and the Indian troops. 2 militants was killed, and then 1 Indian soldier was killed. So that happened in Jammu Kashmir. So as the Indian security ramped up, they're starting to search all the houses, then they meet the militants. But they want to find weapons and find evidence. Yeah, so this is not this is gonna definitely, I think the pro-Pakistani side or the anti-Indian side is going to say that no, this is exactly like what the Israeli do in West Bank. They go into people's house and search things. Yeah, but no, that's the only way you can find things. So that's one thing to note. Of course, then small arms fires between the two sides continues, and then now the Indians also increase their Air Force presence along the line of contact. So both sides, the combat air patrol is now becoming more common, and of course, as usual, this is very dangerous. Both sides will be very suspicious with each other, because once a war breaks out, the one that fires first is going to survive. The one that didn't fire first is going to get shot down. So it's going to be very tense for the pilots that is patrolling, because they do not know when a war may break out. And all these planes definitely is going to be fully armed. So that is the danger right now. And also there is also reports that the Pakistani Special Service Group, the commandos, were deployed to the border regions that may be vulnerable to prepare just in case the Indians launch a ground offensive. And the latest information was that the National Investigation Agency of India has taken over the investigation for the Pahalgam attack, and the government sources currently claim that the attack is orchestrated by the army chief Asim Munir, which is I just mentioned in the beginning of the video, who said some very controversial stuff. So the aim allegedly is to gain popularity and create communal division within India, because as much as Pakistan is supposedly the Muslim South Asians, and then the India is supposedly the Hindu South Asian, that is not entirely true, because in India there's a massive population of Muslim population. So and Pakistani for the Pakistani side, if they want to really gain certain advantage, one of the best way to do is to create religious discord within India, and clearly there's already a lot of tension between the Muslim and the Hindus inside India already, especially with Modi's very pro-Hindu presidency. They have been pushing Hinduism as basically like a state religion already, and and basically giving the Muslims in India have the kind of feeling that they are being downgraded to like a second-class citizen. At least that is the feeling. May not actually be true. So there is the kind of like a tension that's happening over in India that Pakistan may want to make full use of. Other news regarding the anti-terrorism operations is the Indians have demolished the family home of one of the militants linked to the Pahalgam attack, Alsan ul-Haq Sheikh, and so they call it a deterrence measure. Small arms fire continued for the third night. So this is the current general picture of the Pakistani-India tension. This like I said, the risk of war is very high. But however, I would say, like I said, at least from the civilian Pakistani side, the civilian government side, they will not want a war. However, the problem is their chief of army, who is super nationalistic and super hardcore and very combative, and this is a problem. If you watch DPA Open Mind, if you know Waka was a previous Pakistani military commander. Apparently, Asim Munir was his student at the university, and he had told me that this guy indeed is very very combative. So but he's not insane. So but it's dangerous, no, when someone is very combative and very nationalistic and believe that yeah, they can woof diplomacy, like the Chinese, they to woof diplomacy to gain some kind of an ego boost. Yeah, this is a bad idea. India is super nationalistic as well. It's not gonna end well. So anyway, just on one note about the Indus Water Treaty, the Indians, while they suspended and cut water, they basically cut water from the river entirely. They stopped the water from flowing across the dam into the river into Pakistan. This cannot be sustained for the long term because they do not have the canals and the infrastructure to divert the river. So eventually they will have to release the water back into the river from the dam because there's no way to hold back so much water in the dam. It might destroy the dam. So for now, the water is stopped, but I don't think it can be done even in the midterm. I think they will release the water in due time. But for now, this is not good. This is definitely not good. So beware of anything we do with India, especially with India, Pakistan. There's a lot of fake news all around. Be careful what you read. A lot of things are fake. Just be mindful. I will try to cover and keep track of the situation between India and Pakistan. I will keep you guys informed, just like the trade war. So tentatively, that's all I have for you. Thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comment. Know about this Indian Pakistan situation. It's unfortunate that this kind of thing is happening. Very unnecessary. And of course, if India and Pakistan go into a war, they basically play into the hands of the terrorists, because that's exactly what the terrorists want. They want war, chaos, and that's how they can gain. Like Littlefinger said, chaos is a ladder. So from Game of Thrones. So hopefully calmer minds prevail, and hopefully we will see Iran have offered to mediate the two sides. Let's see how it goes. Some other countries I think also do. Donald Trump did not offer, but Trump said that Trump believed that the two sides is going to talk it out. He don't believe that they will clash into a war. So hopefully Donald Trump is right. Who knows? So thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe. Happy birthday to you if your birthday today. And for those that have lost loved ones in the attack or in the skirmishes or whatever, my condolences to you guys. And thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next update.